Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be looking at audiences for you, and this is for our GCSE Media Studies. Now, the learning objectives today are for you to understand what an audience is, to know the difference between mass and niche audiences, and to evaluate how and why audiences are categorised. So, what is an audience? An audience is an individual or a collective group of people who read or consume any media text. So it may be an audience in a theatre, might be an audience at the cinema, it could be a group of people that are reading something. So it could be the audience of a newspaper. For example, we have radio listeners. They're an audience every morning or afternoon and evening listening to the radio. There's television audience, the audience for newspaper and magazine readers, and also any web traffic on websites. Can you think of any other types of audiences? So why are audiences important? Well, for a start, if there weren't any audiences, there would be no media. Media organisations produce media text to make profit. Therefore, if there's no audience, there'd be no profit, no money coming in. Today, the mass media is becoming more competitive than ever to attract more and more audiences in different ways so that they can stay profitable. So we have two different types of media. We've got the old media, so television, print and radio. They used to have a higher audience number, but now they need to work vastly harder to maintain those audience numbers. The new technology today with digital technology has an increasing uncertainty over how we define an audience. But the general agreement is that a large group of people that are reading the same thing at the same time is outdated. And today, audiences are now fragmented. So the fragmented audience. If you have a look at these types of media here, we can see that the division of audiences into smaller groups are due to the variety of media outlets. So we have newspaper articles here and magazines. So you can view the hard copy, so in the ones in your hand, or you can watch and read an online version. And these are sometimes free. So the aim is to metaphorically hit as many people as possible, sell more copies and generate a larger audience. But measuring that audience becomes hard. How many people will actually read that? Because you've got some people that only look online, some people that only read the paper copy, but you've got some that do both. So, how do institutions continue to make money? What we've got to realise is that nothing in life is free. Free apps always have adverts unless you pay to remove those ads. The websites and search engines work hard to target you with ads whilst you watch free online versions of your media product. And these adverts are carefully constructed and selected for the audience for each text. But with newspapers, printing less copies and switching to online distribution can reduce their overall costs. So we have different types of audiences, and we looked at this briefly when we looked at audience types in Doctor Who and An Earthly Child. So there's two types of audience. There's the mass audience, often termed the broadcast audience, and those who look at mainstream or popular text such as soaps on TV like EastEnders, Coronation Street, Emmerdale, Hollyoaks, or sitcoms. Media and communication targets a very large group of people. So that might be men and women, children, adults, young and old. So these are examples of media with mass audiences. Friends has been around now for at least 30 years and has millions and millions of people watching them all the time. Top Gear, which was out in the 1990s, is now back again on a different TV screen. You've got the sorts of heat magazines, those sort of magazines that appeal to a range of different people, and also your newspapers. So millions of people read or watch these every single day. Now, then there's a niche audience. So a niche audience is a very small, select group of people that have a unique interest. So not something that everybody would be involved in. So for example, you may have people that just specifically read a cricket magazine, and that would just be about cricket. Now, there may be many people out there that don't like cricket. There could be people like birds, race cards, stamp collecting, or even fishing articles. So they are niche publications because they're a much smaller audience, but they are extremely influential because the people who relate to that sort of thing are very, very interested in it. Now, your first activity. So what I want you to do, you're more than welcome to pause this. So I want you to say, are these for a mass audience or have they got a niche audience? The first one we've got is Capital FM, that radio station. Facebook, Gardener's World, Daily Mail, Sky Sports, and Manchester United TV. EastEnders, and then the Wedding Path website, and finally the Antiques Roadshow. So have they got a mass audience and many, many, many people watch it, or have they got a niche specific audience? You can pause this now and you can go through each one and work out what you think. And then finally YouTube. Then we have categories. So audiences can be divided into categories based on their social class. So for example, the class that they were born into or their income. But why do we actually categorise audiences? Why would we do that? Well, every advertiser wants to target a particular type of audience, and this is called psychographics. So media companies produce text that target a particular type of audience. This is because much of their funding is generated by advertising. So you need to advertise to the certain groups of people because each group of people have a certain amount of money that they can spend. So advertisers will pay to promote their product on that TV channel or radio channel or in that newspaper or magazine. So most media products can define their typical audience member, often with a psychographic profile. What you can do is you can have a look at this website here and look at Thinkbox TV. So as we go on to it now, and as you go down, it will show you that it is about the power of TV advertising, and it looks at audience profiles. So what you do here, you can get the headline facts and figures for the key TV buying audiences from their universe size to the average number of adverts they view per day. So as you go down, you will see here this chart and you will see profiles. And again, as you can see by the web address at the top, thinkbox.tv, you'll be able to see this. So if we go to the top, what they're saying is that people that watch TV, individuals, there are 60 million people, just over 60 million. And of those 60 million people, the hours of total TV that they watch per day is 3 hours and 12 minutes. So of commercial TV, there is 2 hours and 11 minutes. They have 64.1% of commercial reach. So they can reach 64% of those people. And in a weekly reach, 88% can be reached. 85% of this are live TV. So of that time, that 3 hours and 12 minutes, they will be viewing 41 adverts per day. So the industry, the companies, the institutions will pay money so that adverts are on TV because you will be watching 41 of them on average a day. So getting back to here, we'll have a look at what goes on. So for example, what types of media text would they consume? So group A, these are people who are well educated, they've been to university, they might have further professional qualifications, and these will be lawyers, doctors, scientists, and very well paid professionals. So what type of text do you think that they will watch or hear? So they are Group A. Group B, I want you again to think about the income that these people have coming in. So Group B people are teachers, middle managers, and fairly well paid professionals. Group C1 are people like junior management, bank clerks, nurses, and white collar professionals. So those people that wear their white shirts, that go into work every day and perhaps work in offices. The Group C2s are those people that do manual jobs, however they are educated to do those jobs. So electricians, plumbers and carpenters, and these are known as blue collar professionals. Now Group D, okay, may be people like manual workers such as drivers or post sorters. And then finally, there's Group E, maybe people like yourself that are students, the unemployed and pensioners. So as you can see, you've got varying groups of people that are categorised in this audience. So next activity we want you to do is look at what comes up. So which category of audience do the following media target? How do you know this and why do they do this? So we've got Big Brother. Which audience do you think would follow them? How do you know and why do they do it? The BBC News, business newspaper, Spider-Girl comic, TV programme Family Fortunes, Golf magazine. So moving back to that, again, you go back now, which categories of audience do you think would target these? So for golfing, would it be, for example, which group? Would it be lawyers, doctors, scientists, Group A? Would it be fairly well professional, teachers and middle management, Group B? Would it be junior management, bank clerks or nurses? Would it be electricians, plumbers, carpenters? Would it be manual workers? Or would it be like people like yourself that would read that golfing magazine? So how do you know and why? Okay, I want you to do that for each one. Okay, so finally, research method. So how do we actually measure media audiences? We need to look at the sales, we need to look at subscriptions, we need to look at ratings and figures. So who measures these audiences? Well, these are some of the places, and what you can do is you can Google these. So there's NRS, BARB, and Bookseller, and they're just some of the audiences who monitor audience sizes. So again, if we look at thinkbox.tv, you can see here, okay, that the BARB, now the BARB stands for the Broadcasters Audience Research Board, okay, and what they do is they do media research in the UK. As you can see, they look at everything that's going on. They look at researching standards, behaviour of people, why people watch or consume what they do. So again, if you go back and you have a look, you can look at thinkbox.tv and you can look at that more at your leisure by typing that into Google. Now, what I would like you to do is, as another activity, is look at these companies, research them. So put NRS into Google search, okay, and I want you to find out some information about these. Now, the last slide, or the penultimate slide, looking at new media, can you think of any new ways in which we can measure audience? And I want you to look at the picture below. So, social media network. So Facebook and other social sites, for example, you've got the like button, so you can see how many people there are watching it. However, would people look at something but not actually like it? So people have actually seen it. There are the comment tools on online forums. You can see the views on YouTube and Google. And then there's the Twitter trends. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm going to play you something now. It is a song by Rebecca Black, and she became incredibly famous. Now, what we want to know is how, if we're looking at new media and how we measure audience, how did this $4,000 music video paid for by her mother become a part of modern pop culture? In the end, she ended up having 147 million views. I'll only play it for a short while. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see from looking here, in 2011, she did actually have 147,794,945 views. So, getting on back to our presentation, what we want to know is, how was that audience measured? How, again, did that $4,000 music video become a part of modern pop culture? What exactly happened for her to get those viewing figures? You may have to, again, Google it and look into this information. And on Wikipedia, you can find out information about Rebecca Black. Now, that comes to the end of this lesson here. So if we go back to our learning objectives, can you now understand what an audience is? Could you tell us the difference between mass and niche audiences? And then would you be able to evaluate and explain how and why audiences are categorised? Thank you for listening so well.